Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jenny. Today I thought I'd do something a little different. I thought I would share with you a few books that I've read that I found very helpful for myself. I'm wondering, what kind of books do you all read for inspiration? Especially right now when it's rainy and wet outside and we all want to kind of be huddled up with our cup of coffee and a nice book. Um, what do you read? What kind of books are you reading? I thought I'd go through a few of my favorites that I've gone through. And it'll be a mixed amount of books, different genres. A lot of them are self-help, to help grow as a person, because I'm really interested in making sure I become a better human being. So I thought, yeah, today, let's have a little sip of coffee, tea, whatever floats your boat. And yeah, so I'm going to go through a list of books that I have that I find help me get through some of the darker, gloomier days when I need some inspiration or I need to work on myself. And sometimes some of these books are just for fun, right? So the first one I have here, and this is a really simple, easy book. It's called Daily Kindness, 365 Days Inspiring Quotes. And this one, as you can see, is absolutely beautiful. It's got some pictures and some beautiful quotes. So just an easy, chill read, right? I find that reading something like this, some days you're not into reading heavy, long books, but you need a little inspiration. Sometimes reading something as simple as, a one-liner here, or a couple lines, and it makes it easy, right? And these are done by calendar, so these are dates. So January 14th, or today's like February 13th, so you'd be able to find, a day that you're on to read and maybe have some inspiration. Again, I love the photos in this one. It's a really beautiful book. I will leave all the titles and stuff in the description of all these books I'm recommending today. But again, it's just a simple read, just chill, enjoy moment, right? So my next book that I have is along similar lines. Again, this one is Every Day is a Blessing. And it's by Zerah. I apologize if I mixed up the name on this one. And again, it's a very simple, dated, with little quotes and such in there. Just for a little inspiration, a little lightheartedness. I think it's again, kind of like the first one there, this is more of a kind of like Buddhist Zen kind of feel book, whereas Daily Kindness is kind of like an everybody kind of quote book, right? So all kinds of people are in here, Oprah Winfrey, Dalai Lama. This one's more of a spiritual Dalai Lama and the higher teaching people, right? So my next book recommendation is for women specifically. And this one I found really helpful when I was going through, like most of us, I've gone through breakups and separations and life changes and losses and all that stuff. And so this book here, The Mindful Woman, done by Sue Patton Thiel. This one gives lots of information and tips about restoring calmness and finding balance as a woman in this world, right? And again, I mean, I say women, but this can be helpful for men as well, right? So you can kind of comprehend women in the same way. I know my husband, he's an amazing man. He will read stuff like this so he can understand me better. But it also helps him because he's able to journey through and write down all these little tips and tricks as well for himself. This one has like little journaling tips or exercises you can do, but they're very simple and easy to read. It's a very thin book. Again, it helped me get through a lot of dark times, especially as a woman. And so, yeah, this one is definitely one I would recommend to anybody out there who's just kind of stuck, maybe in the grieving process, who maybe, just needs something lighter to work on and not the heavier, deep, work that we want to do for ourselves. So again, that one is Mindful Woman. And again, I will put all the names of these books in the description so you can go back and take a look. Another one that I really lately been getting back into, and I read this years ago, is called I Will Not Die, An Unlived Life by Dawna Markova. I apologize if I messed that up, but I will put it in the description. This book is a really deep book about life changes and dealing with grief and sorrow. It is a little bit of a deeper book, so if you're looking for a light read, this may not be the one for you. But it does give you tips on how to deal with, changes in your life, losses, grieving. There's a bunch of mini little stories in here that I think will definitely help you grow, right? And maybe help you get through some of those grieving periods, right? As you know, when I did my first video, if you go to my very first video, I did this channel in honor of my best friend Nikki, and she passed away in October, and so I've been going back to this book to kind of help me go through that grieving process, right? So that's another really good one. The next one I have here is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and she is, I'd say, an old school. She was one of the first ones who came back out in the 80s, 90s. And again, You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay. And this one has step-by-step exercises that you can do. So, it gives you little breakdowns of different chapters. And then it gives you little steps about different things you can do, how to work through journaling as a woman. And this one is really good for those of us who have had trauma in our lives, or are dealing with trauma in our lives. I think this book really is inspirational and helpful in helping heal some of those wounds that some of us have gone through. Again, you can actually find some audiobooks and some on YouTube with Louise Hay. And again, I would say she's like the GOAT of, self-healing, back in the day when it became really popular about really learning about ourselves and trying to heal ourselves from our traumas and our pasts. Again, it's a step-by-step. So she gives you steps on how, what to do as far as in journaling or exercises you can do in the day, little things like that. Again, I'll have this linked in, but this one I found for a good part of my life was a book that I went back to over and over again because it is so inspirational. And actually, I haven't read this one in a couple of years, but I'm thinking I'm actually going to get back into it again now because of my friend's loss. But yeah, so give that one, if you're really wanting to work on yourself and heal from some traumas, this one I would really recommend. Another book, excuse me, another book I'm looking at right now, and I've just started this one, but it's an inspirational one. This is called The Secret Power. The Power, and this one is by Rhonda Byrne. And this one gives us tips and easy to read inspirational quotes and easy to read text in here. It's a short book, so for those of us who aren't into depth reading, they're very well put together with different ideas and tips and things that we can do throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever the case may be. It's not as in depth as Louisa Hay's, but it definitely gives you another way of looking into dealing with some of those key features of healing and finding your self-worth, and through a different lens, right? So again, that one is again another self-help, just kind of like Louisa Hay, and like the other one I had recommended here. But yeah, I think it's another really good book. I haven't read this one in a few years as well, but it is one I kind of go back to every now and then. The next one I'm pulling out, and this is just a novel, but it's based on a true story. And I like to read about other cultures and other people, and especially women, and things that they've gone through. And so this one is Falling Leaves by Adeline Yen Ma. I hope I'm not, saying that wrong. And this is a very, very deep, true story about a young Chinese girl who felt like she was unwanted and went through some very difficult times in her young life. But she has overcome and becomes, a productive person and finds her self-worth. But as a little girl, she went through a lot of hard times and tragedy. And this is not a light book by any means, so it's definitely one that needs to have little trigger warnings, because it can be very heartbreaking and sad when you see something, and some it can be triggering. But it is a very, very well written book. I mean, the author, just the details in her writing is so in depth and so real that you feel like you're that child in that moment, right? So she really does an amazing, amazing job writing this book. Again, this is Fallen Leaves by Adeline Yen Ma. And again, I'll have this in the description. This one I read a few years ago, and it touched me so deeply. It really did. Another one that I read just for fun. It's lightly based on a true story. This is A Cup of Tea and an Aspirin. And this is by Helen Forster. And this book takes place in England in about 1938 time, so just before the war starts breaking out. And it's a very, very descriptive, well-paced book on life in the poorer parts of London, where life was not easy. It was a really hard life. It's a very raw book. There's a lot of detail. Again, it may not be on the lighter side of things, so be prepared, because there are some deeper issues that go on in this book. But I found it very inspiring, because the way these women come together and work together, and how one woman can find the strength to just kind of keep going and keep going, keep going, I found was really inspiring. The writing is very well done. She is an amazing author. And yeah, I enjoyed it deeply. I mean, again, it does have some triggering parts in it as far as abuse and that sort of thing, but it was beautifully well written. Again, so this is A Cup of Tea and an Aspirin by Helen Forster. Again, I will link this in the description for you guys. So another one, because sometimes we just want to have cozy, fun, little, silly books. This one is The House on Olive Street by Robin Carr. And I really like Robin Carr as an author. I mean, she's very descriptive, but her characters are very real and emotional. This one, I've read this one over and over and over again, and I don't know what it is about it. It's something deep, but just a light, because I don't want to give away the plot or anything, but it's a lady passes away, and her friends are going through her things. And especially even now with my best friend passing, this book is really, really deep. I love the character arcs in here. I love the storytelling, the way that the author, writes about the human experiences that each of these ladies are going through in their time in their lives, with the loss of their best friend, and finding out details about their best friend they didn't know, or that sort of thing. Again, I don't want to give it too much away, but it's a really well written book. It's really deep, and it does have a cozy ending at the end. I mean, it's a little sad in the beginning because their friend passed away, but again, really well written, and I really enjoyed this book. It's my go-to comfort book if I'm feeling I need to pick me up, because it just inspires me for some reason. I don't have a reason why, but it does. On this list, I decided, because I have to make sure I represent my husband. And one thing he reads, and he reads all the time, over and over again, is The Lord of the Rings. So this is his set. He loves this set. This is his baby. But Lord of the Rings is obviously a fantasy for anyone who doesn't know, but I'm sure most of us do know. But if you don't know it, it's a fantasy uh, of 3 books: Fellowship of the Rings, Two Towers, Return of the King, and this is by J.R. Tolkien. And his form of writing is very detailed, a lot of description. Like, you can get yourself lost in the descriptions in this book. So if you're looking for something flowery and wordy and deep, this is definitely one that I would recommend. Again, it's a longer read, so you can see he's got three books here. You start with one and get the library, where the case may be. But this is his favorite, and he goes back to this, or anything from J.R. Tolkien, really. He's a big lover of J.R. Tolkien. And so, but I had to mention this because, for all those fantasy lovers out there, I think a lot of us forget about these good classics that are out there, right? So, yeah, that's J.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's what I was trying to say earlier. So yeah, that's all I have for today, but I thought it'd be fun to just kind of go through a few books that I enjoy and that have helped me in my time of life. If you could leave a comment, what kind of books do you find helpful when you're going through your struggles? What kind of books are you finding that are your comfort cozy, that you just enjoy? What are the books that you go back to? Are there books that you keep reading over and over again? I mean, another one of my absolute favorites, I don't have a copy right now, was The Outsiders. I read The Outsider. I must have read that book at least 100 times throughout my life. I don't know why, but something just about it, the realness of it, the rawness of it. I would always go back to reading The Outsider. So that was one of my absolute favorite books. So yeah, let us know, what do you read? What are you finding entertaining? I know there's a lot of book talks out there, and there's so many different opinions and ideas. And, I'm just recommending what I found helpful for me, or what I've enjoyed. So I'd appreciate if you could do the same thing and leave a comment. Again, I'm Jenny, and this is my Jenny X Real and Raw series. You can see I have other videos as well, my newer videos, when I first started doing this channel. But yeah, so hopefully this is helpful for you and gives you some ideas of different books that you can try, and hopefully have yourself a cozy little read on a rainy day with your cup of coffee and a little bit of cheer, right? Sometimes I think we sometimes get so crazy with the world going so fast and trying to rush here and rush there, rush doing this and doing that, and taking the kids to here and taking the kids there, going to see the parents, or whatever the case may be, especially as women, but not just women, men as well, do this as well, going to work. And I think we need to know that it's okay to slow down and take a moment to enjoy reading a book or two, right? Something that either helps us, encourages us, or inspires us. So that's what this one's for. I'm thinking my next video, again, we're going to be talking about how the world just kind of rushes around. We're all crazy, hectic people all the time right now, and we need to keep rushing for some reason. So that'll be my next topic going forward, my next video that will release next week. But again, for today, these are the books that I enjoy. Again, give me a like and subscribe. Let me know, what is your favorite book? What books help you? Let's help each other and be kind to each other. Have a wonderful day. Bye.